Thanks for tuning into the Adam Carolla Show. You can watch the full show on YouTube. Just search Adam Carolla Show and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also get the podcast wherever you like to listen. And for extra content, ad-free episodes, and more, you can head over to our Substack and sign up today.
Pluto TV has thousands of free movies and TV shows.
We're coming at you with everything we got.
This is the mindset. Free. This is the mantra. Free. This is the mindset.
With movies like Pineapple Express, the entire Star Trek film franchise, and Gladiator, and TV shows like Survivor, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Fairly Odd Parents, and Ghosts. Pluto TV is always free. Huzzah! Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on the Choice Pick It On Monday. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. Joey Fatone in the studio. Got a really cool multi-part doc out, and it's well done. So congratulations. It's called Boy Band Confidential. It's available on HBO Max and Investigation Discovery, and it is worth your time. It is. I make docs, so I don't like cheap docs,
right,
or ones that look cheap. I like ones that I don't know. I'm sorry, they have to look.
No.
The information has to be there, but the aesthetic and everything has to be there. The flow. So good on you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we were actually meticulous about it. We didn't want it to be, again, too cheesy. We didn't want it to be too dark. We didn't want it the way the edit was going to be or the recreations and all this other kind of BS. So we, myself and my manager came up with this kind of idea of doing this and wanting to get a group of different people together and tried to convince a couple of guys because obviously they didn't want to talk about it. But I said, hey, we're not trying to talk about dark things or, kind of just let it happen. Let's tell your story from the beginning, from you, when you were born, to all the way up until what you've been doing, what's been going on, how you've been, and, what the future holds.
The bands, and there's so many there. I mean, NSYNC, obviously, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, Boys II Men. There's so many there. A couple things that's interesting. First off, it really kind of puts you in a place in the 90s where you're like, oh, yeah. And then also, when you get older, you start hearing about guys 14 years old, 17 years old, 15 years old, and you're like, oh, my God, everyone were kids.
Yeah.
I mean, 22-year-old's the oldest person, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's insane, but it's also, then you realize everyone's story is sort of, not like, well, my dad's a lawyer, my mom's a surgeon, and we lived lavishly. Like, everyone's just like 13 and kind of vulnerable and looking for a dream and sign anything that's put in front of them.
Yeah, pretty much.
And obviously the people know that. I mean, Lou Pearlman knew it for sure. There was a doc on Lou several years ago, and Lou is, his life's kind of crazy, and it ended up kind of crazy too.
I mean, he was a great businessman for himself, as I like to say, in that sense. So it was one of those things where, later on in life, you start to see what the real intentions were and what happens. First it was, I want you to be a big star and let me show you what you can have.
Yeah.
Drive, around in my Rolls Royce, and he has this thing, And then lo and behold, though, with the doc, it obviously touches with Lou, but it's interesting to see where, a lot of the groups came from Lou, but how we all have these kind of linear, and parallel kind of stories, but how some of them go a little bit differently and what they were doing. But it's amazing. It's fascinating.
He did NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, right?
He did NSYNC, Backstreet, O-Town, a group called Take Five, a couple other groups that were even in the process making while he was even in jail, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, he was still trying to do groups after that, and there was all these LFOs. Another one, I believe, there's another group called C Note that was out there. So again, all these boy bands that he was trying to do in Orlando as things were going down.
Yeah. He got busted for basically a Ponzi scheme, essentially.
Yes, he was basically telling a lot of people, hey, I got Backstreet Boys, I got NSYNC, I'm investing money, you should invest in me too. So it took a lot of people's literally all their 401ks or their life retirement funds in from Orlando, from Florida, and literally took all these people's money and just were printing out fake printouts, had a whole bunch of phones that were just operating and just calling and just leaving messages. And he would have fake, stocks and saying, this is going up. You want to stay. You don't want to pull out money yet. Just keep it in there.
It's kind of,
crazy.
And maybe it is crazy, but I mean, I always thought about this when it came to the Manson family. So Charles Manson is living for free in Southern California in the late 60s on a ranch in Chatsworth. He lives there for free, and all he has is tons of runaway young chicks who are angry at their dad, a bevy of a new woman to have sex with every day who's just going to come in here and worship him. But at some point, he says, you know what I think we should do? We should go kill a bunch of people, and then what? And my thing is always like, you had a ranch, you had a bunch of runaways,
what?
You're going to blowjob every other day.
Why?
Why are you breaking this? You got a pretty good thing going on here, Charlie. So why are we going up and killing the Tates and the LaBiancas? Because then they're going to come looking for us, and we're going to move up the ranch,
trouble.
and next thing you know, you're going to be in prison for the rest of your life. Meanwhile, I'm just sipping on a Budweiser, getting a blowjob on some free ranch lands. What are we doing here? And so Lou Pearlman, he's got a company. He signs bands that are wildly successful. He is basically the sixth member of each group. So he just is like, I'm a bandmate. I get paid. Plus, I'm getting 51% of whatever. Why does he need to start the Ponzi scheme?
I don't know. That's the millions and millions of dollar questions that have gone and don't know where they are. He literally, nobody knows why. And obviously, from the early stages too in the story, that he even before that, how he got his first couple of million or two, he, I guess, bought a blimp, put the Jordache symbol up, and then crashed it on purpose, obviously, to get the insurance money. And that's how he literally left New York and moved to Florida and said, I want to be this big mogul business guy, and sees these kids on a plane. And who are they? New Kids on the Block. And he's like, okay, that's a business end to that. Groups, boy band, and that's how that went down. That's all.
I guess in a weird way, it's kind of like Aaron Hernandez or whatever. You go, why do you have to kill somebody? You just signed a huge contract, and it's like the answer is because that's what I do. Yeah, that's really the answer, right?
It's greed. It's probably something that's in his mind that said, "This, I'm just gonna keep doing this." I don't know. Yeah, it's a crazy world in the sense of why not stop? Why keep going, or why go to the next level of whatever that is?
And so things I learned watching the doc is one is Justin Timberlake's mom came up with NSYNC.
The name.
And it's everyone's first initial.
Yeah, it's everyone's last. It's the last letter of our first name.
Oh, the last letter.
Yeah, of our first name.
Right.
So we had Justin for the N, Chris for the S. What are we at? NSY, Joey for the Y, JC for the C. Lanston, as we like to call him, was his nickname for the other N. But that's when we had Jason in the group, and that's in the doc as well, where I haven't seen a buddy of mine who was actually he was like the fifth Beatle kind of thing as well. He was in an NSYNC and then left because he didn't want to be in it anymore. He thought it was a bubblegum boy band BS, but also he did take a look at the contract and when it was too much to even get into, and he didn't want to deal with it.
Well, he brought up a decent point, or was brought up in the doc, which is, so Lou Pearlman, who's Lou Pearlman. But by the way, I had a manager. I was just thinking about this. Me and Jimmy had a manager, and he was Tom Green, Carson Daly. I actually had him first, and I got him in Carson and Jimmy. And anyway, in managers are supposed to look out for your career, right? Right.
Supposed
to. It is illegal to have a 10-year contract in California. Okay. You can't go sign this, you're mine for 10 years. The max is 5. So the contract with him that he made was a 5-year contract that automatically renews for another 5 years with no notice.
Gotcha.
And he doesn't notify you. And this is pre-smartphone. So you would literally have to get a calendar from 5 years ahead
and figure out
and like circle. You have to get a Post-it and put on your refrigerator from 5 years from now. So during this date, because you got a 2-week window, and if you don't, and he doesn't say anything, and it renews. So this kind of weird, sneaky shit. goes on all day, every day. And he wasn't Lou Pearlman. He was just doing what he was doing. So he offers up a shit contract. You got a bunch of 15-year-old guys who are literally just hungry to be anywhere. Sign it. One guy goes and gets a lawyer to look at it and goes, "Are you kidding me? This is insane." But then the question remains, if you won't sign it, you're 15. How much juice do you have? He can just go, "I'll get the next 15-year-old who wants to sign it." So it's not like saying if you'd only got representation. If you'd gotten representation, you might not be there.
Well, again, and back then there was no social media or anything like that, so you couldn't get anything out there to a broad audience if you wanted to.
Right.
So it was very difficult to do that. So this was the opportunity. So it's like, damned if I do, damned if I don't. Am I missing the opportunity? Because he, like you said, he's going to find somebody else, and you go, damn, I need to do this maybe.
So how and your friend who came on camera, which is nice because sometimes people have hard feelings. He was kind of philosophical about it. He seemed like he wishes he was in the band, I would say. I don't know who wouldn't.
Right. No, he said it pretty simple in the sense of, back then thinking he was glad he made the right decision. Of course, not knowing how, to the peak and the craziness that we were going to go through the journey as far as NSYNC. Yeah. But, yeah, it would have been nice to have the money. He said 100%. That would have been nice. But, again, the nice thing is he's come to those terms where it's like, you know what, I'm cool, I'm okay. But damn, it sucked that I didn't. Right. But I'm okay with it. I'm not like dwelling on it or trying to be like, well, I should have been the fifth NSYNC member and I'm going to cash in on it. So, you know what I'm saying? He's just doing his thing, which is great.
Is that where Justin Timberlake came in?
No, Lance came in.
Oh, Lance, that's right. Lance
was the one.
Arkansas somewhere.
Mississippi.
Worst states to be gay in? It's Arkansas or Mississippi.
Bible Belt right there, baby.
That had to be a struggle.
It was tough for him. And as he says, actually, yeah. It was.
And it's interesting. He said his family went to church 3 days a week, which is incredible. And back then, and being gay, it's incredible.
It was tough, yeah. His mom was always like, did I do something wrong in her mind?
Yeah.
And he said his grandparents actually took it a lot easier, which, you'd think even older, they probably even had a hard time, but they were pretty much okay with it. It's like, all right?
You found out pretty early on, I guess, at least chronicled in the doc.
Yep.
You were staying with him. So it
was out hanging out, woke up, what was I doing? We were actually at a party, and we went to his house, a whole bunch of people. I passed out in one of his guest rooms, got up to leave to go to my house, knocked on his door to say goodnight, see you later, wasn't in his room. Went somewhere else, wasn't in his room. Went outside, wasn't in his room. Went in his office. He was sitting there with a buddy of his, sitting on, not naked, thank goodness, but sitting on top of him. And I was like, hey. And I went up to the door. I started creeping the door closed. I go, I'll see you later, man. Have a good night. He's like, no, we're not doing anything. It's like surprise. He's like, hey, man. He goes,
this is how long into being in it?
This is in the height of the career, basically. This is when we're starting to do a lot more stadiums and stuff like that. I want to say probably in was it 99, 2000? Something like that.
So he's not out to anybody.
Wasn't out, yeah, before that, yeah. He wasn't out to anyone.
Then no one in the band knows.
No, nobody knew in that sense. And he's like, hey, man, don't tell anybody else. I said, listen, I'm not saying nothing. I said, your mother's going to kill you, but whatever happens. I love you, brother. I don't love you, but I love you. And whatever you do behind closed doors is none of my damn business. So you do you, bro. But I'm not saying that. And another funny thing is that one of my best friends I've known since kindergarten, same thing, came out to me and told me. It's like, and it took him years to tell me because he was afraid, like I was going to be mad or do something. I'm like, dude, I don't care. It's like,
right.
And then I looked at him like, dude, was I ever attractive? You didn't freaking hit on me. I was like, shit, what the hell was I?
I know.
That was not your type. What the fuck? So kind of funny. But yeah, I was always like, dude, you do you, man. It has nothing to do with me. And that's kind of how we went through it. And he never said anything to the guys until later on. He wanted to talk to them about it.
Would you notice, though, with kind of girls and groupies and that kind of stuff?
He would hang out with girls. And he even had a girlfriend. He had Daniel Fishel from Boy Meets World.
Oh,
they were dating. She was head over heels for him.
Wow.
She wanted him to be the first. She says it in a bunch of interviews, and he was like, "I want to save myself for marriage." Lo and behold, he finally later on, as obviously he couldn't wait no more because she wanted to freaking basically rape him. I guess basically in a sense because she wanted to have sex, and he was like, "I don't have any interest," and that's kind of how. it was like found from her, I think, from her standpoint. And then, it was interesting because he kept it pretty good because there were girls that were hanging out with him. And he even had friends that from Mississippi that would hang out or be on the road sometimes that were girls. And they didn't say anything or anything like that. They just hung out. I'm like, oh, maybe that's one of the guys, one of the girls he's hooking up with.
Right.
All right, cool. Never thought anything of it. Yeah.
So what was the give us a height of the heights NSYNC story. Like, what was the biggest, I don't know,
That's
let's say, yeah.
In what direction are we talking?
No, I guess what I'm saying is like, you run into David Bowie and he gives you a thumbs up or some, they're weird stories like that.
Oh yeah, there's tons of those. I mean, like
one time they're selling out X amount, Wembley Stadium 3 nights or whatever that is.
Yeah, I mean, one comes to mind. As a few actually come to mind. One's I thought was really cool. We're practicing for the Grammys, and it's this whole a cappella breakdown. We're literally in our bathroom, in the dressing rooms, in the arena, and we're practicing. And all of a sudden the door opens up, and we turn around, and it's Paul Simon. Mm-hmm. And he just stands there. We just stop singing. He's like, no, keep going. That's why I came in here. Listen. That was just the coolest thing. Paul Simon walks in listening to you. Stuff like that. I mean, gosh, Super Bowl's another one. One of the biggest things. It was with Aerosmith and Britney and Nelly and Mary J. Blige, which was another, just, one of those pinnacle kind of a cool things. One funny one, me and my manager, Joe, who we'll talk to later on, we went to go see Aerosmith. And this was actually after we did Super Bowl, and Steven Tyler's out there. And I said, hey, man, you mind if I come see the show? I said, yeah, get your tickets. And Joe's like, hey, man, you met Steven before? I go, yeah, we've done these things, blah, blah, blah. He says, come backstage. He's like, all right. Steven comes in. Nicest guy. He's like, yo, you got to take a shit. You got to do anything. Here's my dressing room. You have a sticker. You come back here. If you need to do anything, great. I'll see you later, blah, 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 and goes on stage. But it was just cool that they're, when you're on the same level or a peer like that, it's the weirdest thing to do that because years ago, I watched their videos back in the day. I always dreamt to be on that side.
The real impact is when you were watching them. Yeah, I remember once being backstage at a K-Rock event, and I was just doing a character on the morning show out here. But at some point, Duff or Slash or like one of the Guns N' Roses guys, he came up to me and he goes, "Are you Mr. Bertram from the radio?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh man, Axl is gonna blow his mind. He thought you were like 50 years." And I'm like, "Axl Rose he's got questions about me. I'm gonna blow his mind?
Right.
Are you nuts?" Because I was, living in my crappy apartment with my roommates, and Appetite for Destruction was triple platinum, and so those are the ones that really get you.
Yeah.
Is the
all
ones
those
you
interactions.
watch.
Yeah, even same thing with Kiss with Gene Simmons. I've run into him many times and hung out with him a few times. It's funny. He's a great guy. It's just random. Pick people that you never hang out before. Especially when you go to Adam Sandler's Christmas parties. He has those holiday parties where there's just random people. There's a picture I have with me, Marilyn Manson, and Vanilla Ice. Why the hell would the three of us be in a picture like this? I don't know, but it's hysterical.
But it's the pageantry of life. Like, it's the crazy part. It's the fun part.
It's the fun part. I mean, and that's, again, with those dark sides come those fun sides and come those upsides, those access things that, people don't get access to. And I love bringing friends of mine like that to bring them to things like a Kentucky Derby or things like that where they would never get access to what we do or never get access to be on the Millionaire Road watching the horses right there, right there for the finish line and be standing next to, Travis Kelce and all those other people. They're like, this is like surreal. And it's like, no, this is just, we're all having a good time. We're all here.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So Lou Pearlman, always accused of basically being a pedophile or molester or whatever, but he ends up going to jail for financial things, and they're never able to really get that to stick on him.
Yeah, no one ever really knew, and I think that's something that even for me, maybe, and I obviously joke, but it's probably true, maybe I was too old for him to hit on me in a sense. You know what I mean? Because I never saw a lot of things that other people saw, especially in the interview and the things that, like Ashley Parker talks about from O-Town. So there's a couple of things where you're kind of like, oh shit, I didn't know that. And you're like, wow, okay, well, what? Okay, I never saw that. And he was always that guy. I don't know. He never was. I never got that sense of him wanting to be like the pervy kind of guy, but maybe behind a closed door, but I'd never seen him behind a closed door with somebody else before. You know what I'm saying? For me, I always had somebody there. I mean, I guess maybe I was raised a little bit better. You're not hanging out with some old dude by yourself in a room anyway. Let's be smart about it. But it was just the accusations of it and stuff. Again, for me, I can speak about. I've never really seen much about that. Where it was, but yeah, he was off to me in a sense. He was just that. It felt like he was that lonely guy, or it was that lonely kid that never got a chance to be a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then have friends. And now that he has money, hey, I can be your friend now. Let's hang out. It's like that mentality. And I think of it like same with Michael Jackson. He has that mentality of a child. It's I don't know. It's bizarre to me, but maybe some people didn't have those childhoods and stuff like that to want that, I guess.
And I'm not sure what the schedule is for NSYNC and Timberlake and all that kind of stuff, but you see, is it Backstreet Boys at the Sphere?
Yep.
And, and I went, and it was a great show.
Oh, my God.
It's great. And you go, oh, well, NSYNC could definitely do that, and there's lots of money. And I assume you would want to do that, and it's always about sort of getting everyone on the same page.
Yep.
And then I guess there's a couple sides. First off, it's the money that has been left on the table by bands that didn't get along or wouldn't get. I mean, you could fill the Suez Canal with that much money. It is absolutely insane how much money bands will leave on the table because the one guy doesn't like the other guy or whatever it is. And history's littered with those stories. Now, I don't. And there's real serious situations like the two brothers, the Gallagher brothers or the Black Crow guys. They hate each other, and it's always a rivalry or whatever. I've never really heard anything about NSYNC. Everyone seems to be pretty copacetic. And then it'll be a situation like one guy goes off and gets real busy. Like, I'm not going to get Jimmy to do the stage show or the man show anytime soon. But he's got enough money.
You get it.
He's got. I could get Doug Stanhope maybe and just advertise it as original cast or something. But guys get busy. Guys make a lot of money, and they do other things. Understood. But this seems like a good time to get Timberlake back and to take over the Sphere.
I mean, I think it's just a good time to do anything with the group in general, whether it be the Sphere, whether it be a residency somewhere else, whether it be just a one-off or something. I think for me, I think I'm in a place in my life, and I can only speak for myself, as far as doing stuff, definitely I would love to do it. I mean, my kids, I got a 25-year-old daughter, the other one's 16, so I got one halfway. One's already out the door, the other one's halfway out the door. So I'm not thinking about family in the sense of I need to support somebody or any of that kind of things. Now I'm having fun. Now I'm able to do things where the other guys all have kids. And they're young. They're 1, 2, 3, I think 6 or 7. I think JC's the only one that doesn't. He's the smartest one, I think. The only one that doesn't have kids. But I think that's what really people have never took that into consideration, I don't think. And I think when I did it back in the day, and it was a struggle for me a little bit because I didn't get a chance to really spend time all the time with my kid when I was on the road. And I think they want to.
Well, a tour is grueling.
100%.
You know that. Everyone knows that. But a residency is not quite as grueling schedule-wise.
And then you want to ask other people, though, do they want to do a show or not? That's the other thing. Meaning, are they on the fence about it, or is there other reasons? And that's the hard part about knowing specifically.
I think that, we have a society that sort of moves in cycles. We go, we love these guys. It's the biggest thing in the world. Then it's fuck those guys. Those guys are lame. Right. We want to hear what Nirvana's doing. Right. And then at some point they go, oh, we love those guys.
That was good.
We just do this thing. So we're in the we love those guys again phase of your career. And so love.
And that's why you see my ass running around doing NSYNC songs, singing. If the guys don't want to do it, again, I love performing, so I would love to do that. But again, it does make sense to try to do something.
And there's a part where people think in a way like, well, I don't know if we could do what we did do, but this is not playing in the NFL 5 years after you expire.
No,
you guys can pull this off.
Right.
This is pretty doable.
Correct. No,
for
it's
middle-aged
doable.
dudes.
100%. We've seen it.
And then so the question is you got 5 guys, who's in, who's out,
right.
you know, and is it a Timberlake thing, or is there more than
It's
him?
honestly mixed emotions, I think, from everybody, because it's the uncertainty of if it's going to work. Now, we all know it's going to work. I think so, but people still think that in the group. Also from either working too hard, the same thing. I think Justin, too, is in the sense of him touring, and that's why I take the sense of kids in that sense. I think he's probably burnt out and just wants to chill and not even want to tour. Now, if he tours, does another album next month or does a tour, maybe I might be a little bit bitter about it. But I think what he's been doing is just kind of want to lay low now and just spend time with his family. And I'm like, you know what, you got to respect that. However you do say about the residency, understood that we could probably do something. But again, that still takes time away from your kid, regardless if you're home or not, because you have the rehearsals and everything else. Would it make it easier? I would say so. But again, it takes 5 people to kick him in the right direction. I think it's interesting that the timing, like some of the guys, would be like, okay, yes, let's do it. And some will say no. And then, a year later, it'll flip-flop. 3 of the guys are like, yeah, let's do it now. I didn't want to do it before, but now I'm all for it. And the other guy's like, well, no. And that's the push and pull. And I think that's obviously the problem that we're having. I don't think we're all on the same page yet.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make hay while the sun shines. And I do this with comedians. So they go, no, I'm going to take the summer off.
No,
I go, what the fuck?
I've learned
you stand
now.
around.
Yeah.
You do nothing. You do nothing. You're not a roofer. Roofers don't take the summer off.
And the job's not just going to come. It's not going to come on your door later on. You know what I mean? No one's just going to call you up in about 2 or 3 months or a year from now if you're not doing anything. They go, oh, by the way, I like what you did then. Maybe you can do this. Maybe. But it's like, strike while the iron's hot is what I obviously like to say in a sense, and we're not getting any damn younger. So,
yeah, and that's also irons rarely reheat 25 years later, but this iron has reheated and is hot now. And like I said, I don't know, just because I'm not astute enough in the boy band world to know, but I saw Backstreet Boys at the Sphere, and it was packed, and everyone had a good time. Yep. And I'm going to go apples to apples here. I'm not going to say, well, yeah, but this little indie band or something. I will say those are 2 bands, pretty apples to apples. Yep. And if one can do it, the other can do it. And by the way, if there's appetite for one, there's appetite for the other. I think
there's always room.
I think it's going to be the same people are going to come 100%. Out to both shows.
Well, that's the greatest thing, and good for them. Same thing. I'm listening and knowing that a lot of NSYNC fans are going now to the Backstreet Boy fans because NSYNC is not doing anything. And they're like, hey, you know what? Let's go see Backstreet. And they're enjoying themselves and reliving their childhood again. And I think that's what it's all about for me, for that instance of reliving that. And also those moms and older dads are now bringing their kids.
Right.
So now this is a whole new thing. People sometimes don't even know that I even was in a group called NSYNC. They thought I was just in a movie and I did stuff for Impractical Jokers, and that's it.
Right.
So it's interesting to know that some people don't even know that I wasn't even in a group. They're like, one time somebody asked me one time, they looked and said, hey, so what was it like working for Justin Timberlake?
Oh, right.
I
know.
It was great. I worked with Justin. Again, they don't know, and it's okay. It's not a big deal. And I actually thought it was pretty freaking funny. I was like, yes, I worked for him. It was tough, though. He was a good guy, but he paid me well.
Listen, people, Norm Macdonald's been dead for 3 years. People still think I'm Norm Macdonald. Did everyone, like, Lou ripped everyone off, but there was so much money that you could kind of afford a horrible split, right?
Yes, it was a horrible split. But, again, thank goodness we got wiser, like I said, and got out of that. So we settled out of court, and he only got like a very small percentage from then on. And thank goodness, and everything else with that, after the whole thing of the settling out of court, people had more eyes on that than ever. Then when we came out our album with No Strings Attached, it went, number one.
Oh, that was post Lou.
Yeah. That was right.
So that's a good thing.
It was a very good thing. We broke the record for most album sales. It was 1.2 in the first day, 2.4 million in the first week.
Wow.
Which was crazy. Again, I think that was probably one of the last times that people ever went out online or went to like the Virgin Megastore and stood online to buy a tangible CD.
Yes.
They don't do it anymore.
So you guys, Lou did not get you for an extended period of time.
No, he got a good chunk in the beginning, though. We'll definitely say that. But towards the end, thank goodness, we went past that.
Was there ever any relationship once the lawsuit was done? I mean, did anyone go, hey, we should go visit that guy in jail or anything?
No, before he went to jail, oddly enough, me and my manager Joe were on a plane, and Lou was on the same plane. He was a couple of rows behind me.
Oh,
Joe
wow.
even said, hey, man, Lou's over there. And I said, oh, cool. I got up, said, hey, Lou, how's it going, man? Shook his hand. You doing all right? Cool, good to see you, bro. I went, sat right back down.
That was
Joe
it,
was
huh?
like, wow, how was that? I was like, what? I said, if it wasn't for him, I would have never had a career.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to be a complete jerk to him. Yeah, he's an ass, and I'm not going to really do business or really. I'm going to be cordial. How you doing? You all right? Everything good? Take care of yourself. That's about it, and we move on.
I'm trying to think. It was just a funny story because they just had this whole TMZ story about Jessica Simpson with her ex, who was in the doc.
Nick Lachey.
Nick Lachey. Nick Lachey was all over the doc, and there was just a crazy story about Jessica Simpson, Nick Lachey sitting in first class together, and how uncomfortable it was.
Got to be interesting.
I it's funny. It's bound to happen because you're flying first class. It's also bound to happen because you're not going to Muncie, Indiana.
Right.
You're going to Maui.
Right,
so
right.
that there's going to be some
gonna be
crossover
something.
there. It's bound to happen,
Right.
but it is
one of those,
tough.
ooh.
But you went up and listen. I like you being philosophical about it because people don't do enough. They have their beef and they have their issues, and then people earn that beef and that issue. But there is a bottom line, which is you sold millions of records and wowed millions of fans and made millions of dollars. And that guy who's a horrible guy over there had something to do with that in a pretty big way. And you should not be totally dismissive.
No, not at all. I mean, again, I hopefully I would have gotten there, but I think with the help of NSYNC, of course, and doing the things because I love performing and entertaining and stuff, lead me to where I am today. So, I mean, you can't be mad at that. But, of course, on the other side of it, I am, upset, and, he got what he deserved in a sense in the end and went to jail and everything else. And
he died in prison in 2016,
Something like that,
I think it was.
Yeah,
I looked it up. I think he spent about 7-8 years. Well, Lou's probably the kind of guy, if you just looked at him, not going to see his 80th birthday. But
he wasn't on Health Magazine anytime soon, no.
But it is also weird, too. Like, they're guys that are sort of homeless, junkie guys. If that guy goes to prison, it's sort of a lateral move for him. The guys who travel in the limousines and eat at the fancy steakhouses every night, those are the guys where you kind of go, that's a big jump to prison. That is a big lifestyle change.
It's a good eye-opener.
For you. Yeah. So, NSYNC, did they ever officially break up?
I mean, I don't know if we ever really officially. I mean, again, how can we officially break up when we just did a song not too long ago on the Trolls album? And
right.
We did a song on Justin's album, Paradise. I mean, it's one of those things where we did one-offs, and people were like, "Oh, you guys getting back together?" It's like, no, it was a perfect timing for it. The music was right for it. It was just it just happened to be right for that. Now, does it feel like it was teasing people? I'm sure it did, but again, it's one of those things where we got to really figure out and buckle down what the hell we want to do if we're ever going to do something. I mean, it's one of that $1 million question of are we going to do something? It's crazy.
Well, and
we're still talking about it after all 20 years. I mean, we've been 2001. I think was the last.
I think I can probably put you in the camp of reasonable guy who wants to go out and get some work and make some money and enjoy.
I love it.
Enjoy it, and I'm with you, and I'm always I always think about Jay Leno. Because one time I was talking to Jay Leno and I said, "Oh, could I shoot this thing with you or do a thing with that or whatever?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Thanks so much. I really appreciate it." And he goes, "It doesn't need to be that complicated." And I said, "You're right. It doesn't. I don't know why." And maybe it's publicists, and maybe it's agents, and maybe it's wives.
It's a lot.
Maybe it's
lot of cooks
other
in the
people,
kitchen.
But it really doesn't have to be that complicated.
No, it's true.
Pretty easy at the end of the day.
And I think that's what it all counts now. It's more simplistic things now, I think, nowadays, too. Like you said, it's just being more simplistic that makes things make sense. And it's just like, why complicate things? It's always funny when you see like a lot of these big, massive productions of something, and there's always like 80 million things, blah, 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 and then you do this small little indie thing, and everything's fine. They're like, I got it, boom, boom, ding, 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 and they're done. It's like, what the heck?
It's weirdly like late night and the productions that used to go in, and still do, go into late night, and you go over to Kimmel's, and he's taken over 2 buildings, and you've been there.
Yep.
And in on Hollywood, on the Walk of Fame, and they're all floors are filled with writers and PAs and food and everything. And then you go do Gutfeld, and Gutfeld is not even in his own studio.
Right.
It's a studio that they use as another show during the day and then convert. It's not even a dedicated studio.
Really?
And they roll his desk in, and the seating are bleachers they pull out like a high school auditorium, right? And it's like there's nothing to it. There's nothing there at all. And I'm sitting around at 2:20, 2:15 going, aren't we going at 2:30? Where is there? They're not here yet. Where are they? And then Tyrus comes walking in, and then Gutfeld will come, hey, how you doing? And it would be like, we're going today, though, right?
We're doing this, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to start right now. It's good. It's like everywhere else is all the pre-production and all the pre-interviews and all the here's your manager and everything.
Much.
Right. Here's your production guy, and he talked to him. He's going to produce your segment. And at the end, Gutfeld does a show that gets more eyeballs.
Yeah.
So it can be Nirvana unplugged.
Right.
It doesn't need to be the pyrotechnics
No, true.
part
Yeah.
too. But
Just need all 5 guys, though.
you do, but it's also, I don't know. I feel like Timberlake is at I get it. If you're a real talented guy and you're going out and taking the world
Right.
by storm, then that's going to happen,
Right.
and it has to happen. It's like, look, if a guy emerges as a superstar quarterback and then his contract comes up, like, hey, I love the Browns, but
Yeah.
I got a lot of
Go.
teams calling, man, and I got to get paid,
Right.
Like, I understand it. But I think Timberlake's at the point now where it seems like this is a better time for that. Things have cooled down for him a little bit, and this seems like also seems like good PR for him. It feels good. Feels like it was a way to be embraced
Definitely
by
don't
society.
disagree with you there. I mean, I definitely do agree with that in that sense. Again, it's one of those things where, where is his head out? Does he really want to go out there and do this again right now at the moment? Or does he, and again, is it a money grab? Is it more of a fame thing? Is it more of a good look thing, or just the hell to do it? I mean, again, it's so many things and when I say all that, why make it that difficult?
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're saying.
Well,
it goes back to that, though. It's not rocket science.
I would kind of say it's because it's what you do. And any comedian, you can find some of the most famous guys just on a Wednesday night with 18 people in the room at the Cellar just working out. You know what I mean? Because and you go, what do you need all that shit for? You could fill Madison Square Garden. I do it, but that's what I do, though. And the people... And I don't trust a comedian who won't do it unless the place is a stadium. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I want that person working out.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
That's a love of the game kind of thing.
Yep, true.
And, so ultimately, money's great and the experience is great. And the adulation is great and everything. But ultimately, the answer is pretty simple. It's what you do. And the good news is it's not roofing. It's not masonry.
Right.
It's not, I don't know what your dad did. But
Telephone company. He was a cable splicer in the manholes.
You're not climbing down a manhole in L.A. interrupting dinner for a family of 7.
Right.
You're on stage. There's air conditioning, and you could even get a free Miller Lite.
100%.
Put it on the rider. Free Miller Lite, and you could do a lot worse than that.
100%. I always say I can be back doing You Want Fries with that or something like that. Like just really going back into that. And I'm like, I made a name for myself to do things, to do what I love, and I'm going to keep doing it. I mean, why not? It's a blessing, and it's also that curse to keep going. You know what I mean? And for certain people, when they get that height, they get that adrenaline rush. It's almost like an addiction. And when they come down, how do they come down off of it? And I think that's where some people lose their sense. And that's why I think for me, my optimistic is, like I said, I love performing, love doing things. So it's like for me, I've never had that dip. People have asked me sometimes, you dealt with depression or something like that. I said, yeah, I've been sad, of course. We've all been sad. But I've never had that dark hole because I know that there's always something else that I can do. I've never felt that way in that sense. So it's like always, again, for everybody, the 5, getting together, it's like we can do that, and I'd love to do that, but I'm always going to try to do something else as well because I just love performing.
And it's always been that way with you, which seems unlikely from where you come from, but I think it's just kind of in you.
Yeah.
I always believe, I mean, it's singing, comedy, dance, or working with kids. It's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Or it's not there.
But not. Yeah, true.
But with singing, you have to have a voice, and that's the tough part.
Yeah, you can't suck. That's the truth.
I would say a voice is like foot speed in that you can work on it a little bit. Like if you got a high school cornerback or something, you kind of work on it, but you can't really just pull it out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And if you ain't fast, you ain't fast, and that's the end of that.
True.
And if you can't sing, you can't sing. But if you can sing, you can always sing a little better, and you can maintain it.
Always improve your craft.
Well. Yeah. And do you feel that way as a singer?
Yeah. No, I feel that way all the way around. Every time I'm learning different things, even from when, doing things like I was hosting a live version of Price is Right at the Bally's in Las Vegas during the day from 2 to 4. Talk about interesting work. But that helped me with hosting gigs and dealing with people every day, whether they were sober, drunk, annoying, sweet, happy. How to find that fine line of going, I can cross that line just enough to make it funny, but not make it insulting. And that was a fun thing to do, though, believe it or not. That was such a great learning tool for me. It was just a repetition of just dealing with just different people every day and trying to figure out how to have that conversation and make you feel comfortable, God forbid, if you're too stiff or whatever the case may be. And again, you've known that many years with other people and guests that come in. You see if they're too tight or too tense or they had a bad day. You can tell they may want to be annoyed or whatever the hell. And how do you cope with that? There's so many ways you can deal with it to either make them open up or just shut down real quick.
I don't think enough people embrace that part of life where, like, I taught comedy traffic school for a while, and that was 8 hours on your feet in a hostile crowd because they didn't want to be there.
Right.
And they were sort of angry at you, which is, it's not my fault, but it's still Saturday and we're still at the YMCA in Conejo and you are here all day.
Right.
The sun's shining and you're kind of looking at me. But I got a lot out of just standing there for 8. I mean, I did this before I had a career, but I knew it would help. Like, I got that if you can do this, it'll be a good building block for what you might end up doing, talking on the radio for 2 hours or whatever it is. If you can stand there for 8 hours in that hostile crowd and win them over, then you could do a 2-hour radio shift, And I think people need to do a little more of that.
And even right now, I just went back to doing Broadway for a little while, and I'm probably going to do some more again. But I did a show called Anne Juliet, and it's 8 shows a week. And I don't have a very big part at all. But the interesting thing to see is where you have certain people where there are artists and stuff like that try to do those 8 shows a week. And again, learning that kind of stuff when I did Universal Studios, we were doing 5 shows a day. There were 20-minute shows, 20-minute set shows. But I was in fur and I was in like 100-degree weather.
Right.
So to do that literally prepared me to do literally outdoor venues with NSYNC. It sounds crazy, but dancing for 2.5 hours, sweating, and doing the same show over and over again. Same thing with the Broadway where you're doing 8 shows a week. Some people can't even, they don't even know the work that it really goes into to doing that show 8 shows a week every day. You only have 1 day off, and you're doing that for 6, 7, 8 months in a row. It's it's a grind, but it's a love. Like you said, it's one of those things where if you love what you do too as well, it doesn't seem like work anymore.
Yeah. And also, I think the variety part, it helps every part. You want to be
100%.
kind of a Swiss Army knife, and you might think, well, what does that have to do with this, and what's this have to do with that? And I think it all helps, and it ends up in
100%.
the same place. So people say no a little too quick, or they go, I'm not going to do that, or they do, I don't need to do that. Like I go, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to get out of bed in the morning, but you should.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel that way about washing my own car. It's like, I feel like, you don't need to do that. I go, I know, but I want to.
Right.
Because I think it helps for some reason. And there's a kind of problem solving, and there's an adaptation part. There's like, you got to learn.
True.
There's like a part 2 where you're the new kid on the block, pardon the pun, but you show up and the production's already been going, and people are like, who's this guy? And you got to kind of ingratiate and figure out. You have to navigate, like going to a new high school or something.
It's the same. It's always repeating itself like that. Always. Yeah. True.
So how do you get you start off in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, New York, and then moved with my family. We always visited Disney World in Florida, so we went there in 1990, and then lived there for pretty much most of my life. I lived here in California for about 3 years at one point, and then moved back to Florida because my parents are still there, and my kids still there, so it's been good.
And what age are you when NSYNC really hits the zenith?
I was 22, 23, right around that time, because that's when I had my first child when I was 23, in the height of our career. Doing stadiums. Yeah.
Now, did you appreciate it? And I don't mean the alternative isn't being dismissive, but it's kind of easy just to go, okay, let's do the show. Let's get out of here, kind of thing. Like there's a way you can not appreciate it.
Many times, I'm sure. Mentally, when you're doing the same show over and over again, yes. But I do, and I have, and I always do, believe it or not, crazy as it does sound, I'm always appreciative every time. Every time I get out on that stage, every time, it's not like, I sit there and I go, oh, I'm so happy. No, but it's like, you know what? It's like, shit, I made it. Every time I'm able to do what I love to do, which doesn't happen to most people nowadays. They always has these aspirations and dreams. And to be able to do it every time I'm looking out there going, okay, you know what? Even though I may not want to do this show right this second, right this day, but you know what? These people have paid money. They came out to see a good show. They're here to be entertained. They want to forget about their troubles.
Yeah.
So now this is my time too as well to forget about my troubles. Screw all that shit that I'm listening to. Forget all that noise. It's just the audience and us. Let's have some fun. That's it.
It's funny. I'm laughing because there are some comedians, or some performers, I'm guessing, when they have a show, and let's say the show isn't very well attended, and so it's kind of a light audience, and then the comedian comes out and starts yelling at the people for not showing up, except for he's yelling at the people who showed up.
Right.
The people he's got to beef with is the people that are home.
Right.
He should go to their house and yell at them, not these people.
Right, they came.
They showed up. It's such a weird mentality. Like, you always have to appreciate
those
they're like,
oh, how was the
people.
show? Well, it wasn't that crowded. Well, were there people there? Yeah, well, I'll be glad they came.
Yeah. And also, the worst thing I think you could probably read is like, oh, I saw Joey perform. Like, how was it? He seemed bored. Or he was a little tired. I think he was tired.
He was exhausted,
or something like that. Like, you want to
knock on
pedal
wood.
that.
Thank God that hasn't happened yet. Not yet.
Well, I think we're going to bring in the guy directed.
Yeah, he's one of. Well, we both co-directed.
co-directed.
We both came up with this idea. A lot of times that me and my manager Joe, he's the side brain of reality. I would say, and more of a numbers guy, if you will. So that's why I think we work very, very well together. I come up with the imaginary stuff, and then he kind of brings me down a little bit to go, okay, here's this, here's that. Don't do this. Maybe this is a good idea, and really kind of hones it in. And that's what we did. I've opened up a hot dog place with him, doing that, called Fat Ones.
What is, by the way, perfect. Yeah, he was on camera a lot, Joe was, in the doc.
Yeah.
Wait, give me your best hot dog. I just went through this with somebody.
The best hot dog?
Yeah.
Well, it's mine. It's 100% Angus beef. We do it, and I do different ways, though. Like, what do you want? I'm simple, though. I'm a ketchup guy, but I've done it where I've done a Reuben. I make a Reuben.
I like a Chicagoan style.
You like the Chicago?
Yeah, I always liked that one.
With the green, with the bright green. Yeah.
I had one for the first time a million years. Now, how do you cook your dogs?
On the grill. I gotta have the snap.
The guy with the snap.
I usually have the snap, or I'll butterfly them depending on what you have ingredients-wise. So yeah, sometimes we'll do it. We'll butterfly them so the ingredients stay on. Usually when you bite and shit falls every all the place.
So a guy who likes ketchup on his hot dog opened a hot dog stand.
I know.
That's like
crazy?
When I wrote a book.
Isn't that crazy?
People are like, a guy doesn't know how to read wrote a book? What the fuck?
Well, I love hot dogs, and I tried all these other ones, so that's literally what happened. We would literally come up with these concoctions and go, okay, that tastes good. Okay, that tastes good. But I like it simple, but, again, the chili dog is another good one.
Where is the hot dog stand, by the way?
Well, we used to have one in Orlando. We had a food truck, but I can't say exactly when it's opening up yet where, but you will know, and you'll know exactly where it is when I finally tell people. But it's in a good area, which I've been trying to get. Finally, the contract is being signed. signed as we speak.
Oh.
With no BS. So that's why I can't
Do
say
I have a
100%
restaurant?
about it. But we got a place that's going to be opening up very soon, hopefully within the next 6 to 9
hot dog
months.
place.
Yep, fat ones. A fat
Love
ones.
it. All right. We'll bring Joe
where
in.
Where's he at?
We'll take a break. We'll bring Joe in and we'll pick this up. Fast Growing Trees. Did you know Fast Growing Trees is America's largest and most trusted online nursery? They have thousands of trees and plants and over 2 million happy customers. They have all the plants your yard needs, grown with care and guaranteed to arrive healthy. I've moved around a lot, and I always use Fast Growing Trees. They help me make my yard beautiful. I get my dream yard with these guys. All you have to do is just click, order, and grow. I recently just ordered some more, and my kids love them, and I love them too. And I can't believe how good they look. So it's Fast Growing Trees. These guys are smart. Use them. It's Fast Growing Trees, right, Dawson?
Right now, they have great deals on spring planting essentials, up to half off on select plants. And listeners to our show get 20% off their first purchase when using the code ADAM at checkout. That's an additional 20% off. Better plants and better growing at fastgrowingtrees.com. And using the code ADAM at checkout, fastgrowingtrees.com, code ADAM. Now is the perfect time to plant. Let's grow together. Use code ADAM to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply.
Huel, heading into springtime. You want to eat right, but it's hard when I'm busy, and that's why I love Huel's. Ready to drink, full meals. My favorite is the vanilla flavor. I know, sounds a little vanilla, but I'm a vanilla guy. They have 35 grams of protein, 27 essential vitamins, and minerals as well. So it's all there. No artificial sweeteners, colors, or flavors. Gluten-free. It's a complete meal you can literally grab and go for less than $5. And if I got a little more time, I'll use their powder and blend it up with some fruit, make a shake out of it, whatever you want. Do it with juice, do it with water. It's great stuff. It's Huel. And if you're trying to stay consistent, this combo makes it stupidly easy. It's Huel, right, Dawson?
Limited time offer. Get Huel today with our exclusive offer of 15% off online with our code ADAM at Huel.com/Adam. New customers only. Thank you to Huel for partnering and supporting our show.
All right, so now Joe, co-director, Mulvihill, got that right.
Nice.
Goes way back with Joey. Great job on the film. I think you said you just sort of started off as kind of a gopher almost for the band, right?
Carrying my bags.
Yeah, I met Joey. I worked at Universal Studios for a while, and Joey came in as a junior in high school. And we all worked together at Universal, me, him, Wayne Brady. We all worked in the same show. And I went on, I was one of the first people to ever throw a T-shirt out into a basketball game or a football game, me and 6 different guys. And it turned into a business for me. So I just started this business, was doing really good. Joey started a band. I went and saw his rehearsal. I said, this is never going to make it. This is terrible. The guy with the curly hair is terrible. The whole thing is terrible.
Well, yeah, in the doc, you basically go, Timberlake's not cutting it
The
in
weak
this
link.
band. Yeah. We should go to the track later, and you could pick some horses for me.
Yeah, I was off on that one.
Bush.
But yeah, and then I got offered an opportunity to work with him. But at the time, I was working with the Bulls and Jordan, and during the day I was at Universal, and at night I was working in sports. So I kept turning it down. And then they sent me a VHS tape from Europe, and I put it in, and I saw all these girls chasing the bus, and I was like, it's really happening for these guys.
Yeah.
So that's when I said, maybe I should work for them. So yeah, I started off as an assistant for them.
I forgot about the whole German route.
I was there for about 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
We started, we signed with what happened was Backstreet Boys left BMG in Munich, Germany, record company, and signed with Jive. And when that happened, that's when Lou and Johnny were like, hey, since you left, the Backstreet Boys left them, we have another group. Went and auditioned with them. They saw it. We signed with BMG and then started Europe because boy bands were popular at the time. And right around that time in the States, it was more grunge, it was more Nirvana, it was, Pearl Jam, it was all that.
So what year are we talking about?
We're talking about
96.
Yeah, right around there.
Yep.
95, 96.
95, 96.
Right.
'Cause I just graduated and joined the band, yeah.
95, 96. So I'm at K-Rock, the biggest alternative radio station.
It's probably cranking.
And that's all about Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and boy bands, no fly zone over, but a lot of it's also like an attitude. Like it was all sort of you had to like these bands because that made you cool, and that was yesterday's band, and that made you not cool.
Right.
So Backstreet Boys go to Germany first.
They went first,
Right.
and they started basically doing shows there, and that's when boy bands were accepted there. And then when I think it was Hanson, Spice Girls, and Backstreet started coming into the States, and that started getting a liking, that's when we were able to get over there on the other side. And that's when we came into the States. And then,
So 2.5 years in Germany.
yep, alles klar, yeah.
And that's I guess
crazy.
Hasselhoff's probably doing some German stuff
He
a
was-
little later than that.
It was earlier than that, but
Oh,
he
earlier.
was doing
Oh,
was
that's
around
right.
Baywatch too. It was after Baywatch, but he was still sexy there. They still loved him over there though, boy. They still loved
They
him
love
over
the
there.
Hoff over
Yeah,
there.
It's amazing.
And so your 2.5 years in Germany is just traveling from venue to venue?
Pretty much, we opened up for a rapper named TJ Bobo was his name, and opened up for a couple different acts out there. Then we started doing like little tours of just small open venues and stuff like that. And we did more of the radio shows. And then when that started breaking though, and then when we went to the States, we never went back.
When did also people kind of assume, I think, like for musicians and comedians, that you always were this skilled, and,
No, we were
like
pushing, yeah.
people weren't, like people didn't
It
notice.
just happened.
Right. Well, it's kind of weird because you go, like a comedian, you go, well, this guy had a young Dave Chappelle, and they told him he couldn't come back to the club, and they go, well, he wasn't funny. Wasn't that funny back then? Like, when could you tell you guys were good?
I think when we first started singing together, vocally, we were really good. I think we weren't polished as a group or as artists, I would say. And I think, and it was funny because we didn't have literally like an A&R really all the time at us saying you need to be this or that. It was more or less us finding kind of what we were and who we were as a group. And that's kind of how it happened. And then us just polishing it over the years with being in Germany. And then we got the big break for Disney. Disney Channel gave us this big break because we were nobodies in the States. Backstreet Boys was popular there. They were supposed to do this big special on Disney. They turned it down. We picked up the scraps and we blew up after that. And that's how kind of we got the big break.
But before that, the one thing that you miss is they rehearsed the same 4 songs.
Yeah, for about 2.5
literally
years.
over a year. The same 4 songs for
Wow.
a year. So when they had their opportunity to go over to Germany, they were so polished that people were like, wow, back to your thing. Everybody goes, oh, it just happened overnight. Nobody saw him working same 4 songs every day and over and over. So
Did it, there's part of it is tedious and boring. The other part is I can do this in my sleep. I don't have to
After a while,
remember
yeah.
the whole new set and everything. So there's kind of an upside and then sort of a downside. But would you guys cover stuff at the beginning?
Yeah, we did it. Well, when we did the first thing, we did a cover of the Beatles' "We Can Work It Out," but we kind of made it our own NSYNC version, if you will. And then we had like 3 or 4 originals. Then when we were doing some tours, though, we threw in like the Temptations. We did a Temptation set. We did a Beatles set, and because we didn't have that money, we only had like 1 album. So what are you gonna
Right.
do? An hour show with 12
Right.
songs
Right.
adds up pretty quickly. So we had to do certain things. Obviously, with more albums, able to do our own songs after that. But we still, I think, actually during every tour, we kind of throw in fun things and covers that we do.
Yeah. I would, I'm going to recommend Spinners. I love the Spinners.
Spinners.
I like the Temptations a lot, but
Yep, no, no.
people sleep a little on the
Spinners.
Spinners, but the Spinners
Yeah,
are real good
And the Jesters too.
as well.
Delphonics. I'm a huge.
he's a big
50s
doo-wop guy.
Oh, you are?
doo-wop.
So you're like a Dion and the Belmonts
Correct.
kind of guy?
Correct. Frankie and the Avalon. Yeah, all them. Yeah, Frankie and Avalon. All this stuff. Yeah, I do. It's weird.
It's funny. It's I don't know now if I heard any new music, if I could put a timestamp on it, but that stuff you can put about a
100%.
4-year boom. Like it wasn't before 55, wasn't after 60.
Right.
It was like boom, right
There's
there.
a set that all were. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
great. I loved it.
Yeah, I guess there's a simple sort of beauty to like run around Sue and stuff like that.
Heck yeah.
I love it. I love it back what they would. Also, they could get away with shit. Like you take the song "The Wanderer,"
Yep.
and he's basically just wanders around banging everybody, you know. But there's a part of the song that's great. He goes, after he's done banging all this strange pussy, at some point they'll ask him, "Which one do you love the best?" And he tears open his shirt and shows them Rosie on his chest, which, by the way, they probably saw when he was banging them, you know. But it's pretty brash to go. I like all kinds of women, but this is my. Like. You want to know? I know you're hoping I was going to say you, but it's Rosie. He tears his
Chuck
shirt
Berry
open.
with My Ding-a-Ling, things like that.
Yeah. Even Ricky Nelson with Traveling Man, you know, like they did a lot of stuff. He had his girl in Singapore. He had him stash. He's like, right,
I get away with it, but now they're just blunt though now, which is even crazier. They just say it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, hey, lick this, butt, fuck this, butt, and you're like, what the hell?
That's art. I think that was art back then.
That was because it was clever.
Art. Yeah.
It was clever. I thought.
Yeah, they had to. You know, it was like knowing she would, the Beatles turning into Norwegian Wood and stuff like that. Like they had to kind of dance around the stuff. Now you realize it's a strange time, but you have the president of the United States like standing in front of a podium, and he's up there and he's like, well, we beat the shit out of those Iranians because they're pussies. And I'm like, yeah, wow, this would have been mind-blowing when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, you don't say
it's
anything
kind of mind-blowing.
like
it is now, but you have the mayor of any town who wins the Super Bowl or wins the NBA championship. They go, let's fucking go, fucking Lakers. It's like, you're the mayor and you're a woman. You're not supposed to be doing that. But it's just on now.
Yeah.
It's no hold bars, and again, that's why reverting back to the '90s is always a good time because it was so carefree and there was censorship, but it was carefree in that sense.
First off, everyone's got a camera with a phone in it and a phone and a camera in it now, but you couldn't. I mean, it would have been really tough, privacy-wise, trying to do what you did, travel.
It's just all eyes are on everybody now. It's just crazy. I mean, again, I'm okay with it because eyes were on us at a younger age, I guess, and I'm not very bothered by it anymore. Certain celebrity now or artists are like, oh no, I don't want to be in the front. Meanwhile, you're the one that wanted to be in the limelight, so shut up and take the damn photo.
No, I totally agree, and you should be flattered by it.
But there's a time and a place for everything. I mean,
I guess people are coming up and because they appreciate you. And they're enthusiastic and they want to take a picture, say hi or whatever. And it's all, the motivation is all good. And the only time I didn't take a picture with somebody is I forgot about this, but I was standing in front of Kimmel's Theater a million years ago, and I was like walking down Hollywood, and these two middle-aged women go, hey, Adam. I go, oh, hey, can we get a picture? I go, yeah, you can get a picture. And they go, all right, let's get, and while we're getting it going, they go, my husband's a big fan. I mean, I don't care for, but he would love this. He would love this picture. And I go, okay. Because you understand, he loved the mansion. I didn't care for it myself. Right. You know what I mean? I go, okay, let's just get the picture. We'll give it to her. And she goes, I thought it was offensive, actually. I go, that's it. We're done. And they go, what? What's going on? And I'm like, listen, I know you're going to go home and tell your husband a story about me being a douchebag. Right. Go right ahead. This is the third time you've insulted me in our attempt to take this picture. You should fucking figure it out because you got an issue. And I left, and we never took the picture.
Hey, it happens.
Joey had a situation at a restaurant we were eating. And this young girl kept faking a photo or moving around. You know how they sneak a photo in? Sneaking a photo.
And the mother asked first, hey, you mind taking a photo? I said, you done eating soon? She goes, yeah. I said, after you're done eating, I'll go outside and take the photo. No problem. So now the kids are taking photos the whole time. And I'm like, oh, come on. So they get up, and we're still ordering food. We're just, in, like a Benihana's, the tables on the other side. And she goes, hey, do you mind if I take that photo? I'm like, actually, I've never been really rude, man, but I'm not going to do that for you. He's like, why not? I said, well, your kids have been taking photos the whole time. And I said, I'll take it later on, but you've been taking it the whole time we've been having conversations and eating.
Right.
And like, no, they haven't. I said, they're not. I said, can I see your phone? She goes, no, you can't see the phone. And she got mad and walked out. As I'm about to eat, I get smacked in the back of my head, which is my mother. And she goes, you go out there and you fucking better go take that photo. I'm going to beat your ass. And I was like, okay. And I walked, obviously my mother, but I was so mad that I didn't want to take it, but I had no choice. But I would have never taken that photo. Because again, it's like, I understand that. And we even said, hey, it's okay. We'll take it later. But if you're going to keep invading the privacy, why should I be nice now?
Yeah, no, I agree. And also, you may have to learn how to be a celebrity, but people need to learn how to be a fan, too. There's an element of that.
There's a respect level, too.
The funny one the one that always cracks me up is when there's a bunch of people and you're trying to get somewhere and you're like taking pictures or something. And the person goes, one more, just one more. And I go, one more for you.
Right.
That's not
for everybody else.
There's everybody else. I don't know where you can get the one more.
Just one more. Or you're like, hey, have your camera ready. Okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm in the. You know what? Just move aside. We'll take. And then you get back to them, and they still mess it up. And you go, come on.
The one I love is they've been standing there for 10 minutes. They go, oh, it's on video. I go, that's better. That's better. They go, no, let me get it off video. I go, no, keep it on video.
Just let it go.
Just grab a shot. Make a movie. You can make a short film. Well, the movie Boy Band Confidential, is it 4 parts?
2. It's 2 parts.
Oh, 2 parts.
Yeah.
2
And
parts.
how long is each part?
It's about an hour and 30 minutes for the first part, and then the second part's an hour and 30 minutes. It's about 3 hours worth of material.
Oh, okay. I don't know why. It's weird. I saw my guy said like 4 1-hour things, and I go, I watched an hour and a half last night. So.
Yeah. Joey and I saw something that said 4 parts. So when he called me and said, did it change to 4 parts? I'm like, I don't think it did. So it might have been something you might have saw too.
Cruise that internet and figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. But it's I saw the first part, and I mean the first 90 minutes. It's good. And it's done well, like I said. Some docs don't look that good. They look like a little cheap and a little tinny or something. Like they're a little flat. Like they'll have those docs. You'll see them on, I don't know, it's like YouTube, and it'll go like, Tom Petty, we hardly knew you, and it's 41 minutes or something, and you just see it, and it already looks a little weak sauce.
Or it's like almost like
top.
dum, dum, dum. To me in my head, it's kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, and they'll do them, and there's a little artistry that has to go into docs. And by the way, docs used to just kind of be tutorials, and now they're a genre, and they have more to them, And so this series looks amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been great. I mean, like I said, for me and Joe to kind of put this together and come from a artist side and from a management side, it's actually been very, very cool to be able to see that. Because again, we do play off of each other, but then listening to these other people and going, okay, well, that's how that went, and that's how this story went. And imagine and then we went into this depth thing, and that's why we did this doc, is because, again, what's cool about this one is you can go off into other groups like this or other bands and other things and know that these stories exist, obviously, and there's a lot of them out there. So it's interesting to see, and hopefully we'll be able to dive into more.
Once you start making docs, it's really like killing prostitutes. You can't stop.
No, it's like
you get a little taste, because when you start
going
walking
down that rabbit hole,
you pass people in the airport and you go, that could be a good subject for a doc. Then we should do a doc about that guy because he's working a floor buffer.
It's true.
But there's a story there, man. Like you just start running. I made my first doc about Paul Newman's car racing and ended up making another one about Willie T. Ribbs, who was like the first black driver at Indy, because he was in the Paul Newman doc, and as I'm making we're interviewing this guy, I'm going, well, this guy's our next doc. Right. You know what I mean? So you'll start down this doc highway that you may. I know it has, because it's baked in.
And
You've already started
fascinating.
going, and then you'll start going, shit, we don't need to do bands. We can do whatever, and
it's interesting.
Right then you're off and running.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Joestown. That was awesome. And the series, again, it is on Discovery, or sorry, I should say Investigation Discovery and HBO Max as well. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll do the news with Rudy right after this. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah. They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. These are good guys. Always used them. Always have. And back when I was a carpenter, I had a wrench on my Isuzu Trooper. Always used O'Reilly. There are not many car issues that I can't figure out. But if I can't, I'm stumped, I'll always call O'Reilly immediately. They've got thousands of parts in stock, either in store or online, so you never have to worry if you're in a jam. They'll also test your battery for free. And if it needs to be replaced, they'll help you find the right one. So whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you'll see the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts are helpful and friendly. They held the door for me last time I went. O'Reilly is your one-stop shop for all things auto do-it-yourself. It's O'Reilly, right, Dawson?
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
Quince. Well, it's that time of year that always makes me rethink what I'm wearing. I'm trying to keep fewer things, but better ones. You know what I mean? Quality, not quantity. And that's why I keep coming back to Quince. They use 100% European linens and their insanely soft flow knit activewear fabric, moisture wicking, anti-odor, and soft enough that you'll actually want to wear it all day. They work directly with ethical factories and cuts out the middleman, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup. Quince linen pants have become my go-to. So comfortable, I wear them on stage. It's Quince, right, Dawson?
Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/ACS for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. Go to QUINCE.com/ACS for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/ACS. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace Man, Paul here in Missouri. I was watching the news with you and Rudy, and I think you inadvertently coined a new phrase. You've got AI, which is artificial intelligence, and you've got EI, which is estrogen influx. Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Rudy's here. Everyone loves Rudy and his news.
What's going on?
We'll do that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking down on my list of things to talk about. I had an interesting thought. Well, I think it's interesting. I kind of think everything means something. Like I don't take anything as light. You know, if you see a neighbor walking down the street, you're standing on your porch, and that neighbor's walking to get his mailbox, and he picks up a piece of garbage that somebody left and puts it in a trash can and walks back. You go, okay, that's a good neighbor. That's a good dude. That guy's kind of universally good.
Yes.
And if you saw another neighbor like walking down the street and their dog was sniffing and they kicked the dog in the ribs, you'd go, okay, that's an asshole neighbor. Now you go, what do you know about that person? Well, all you know is that guy picked up a piece of garbage and that guy kicked his dog. But I think I know a lot about that person. And that's kind of how I roll. Like, most people, for some reason, don't do that. Like, when I saw the clip, and we always play it, it's worth playing it again, and Andrew's got to look for it because I didn't talk to him. But when I saw the clip of Joe Biden, like, standing up on stage, holding a microphone, explaining that he was two-time Fulbright scholarship. He's the top of his law class, and he's the only dual major law student that's ever been sent from Cornell. And then it was lying about everything, and he was like 55. I'm like, that guy's a super flawed, fucked up, narcissistic, broken person.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, everything that guy says is now suspect. I've never talked to my son about his business ever. You were just standing in front of a group telling me you won the Lombardi Trophy and the Outlander Trophy and the Butkus Award, and you're the top of your law class, and you're at the bottom of your law class, and you didn't do any of that stuff. So now people go, it's just a politician's up there bragging. Maybe his memory didn't. Are you kidding? That is a sociopath.
Sure.
That's an insane sociopath.
I went to law school.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let's go. It's good. The whole clip is awesome. And by the way, it's back when news used to be news. It's back when they would, on ABC or NBC, go after a Democrat. This is great.
The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and, in fact, ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a full-blown sociopath.
Yep.
Okay, and for me, I go, something's wrong with that. Now, Trump explaining that when he gets elected, he's going to turn everything into gold is different. It's weird. It's like there's blowhards that talk about being big man on campus and star of the high school team or something. It's different than what Biden does. Mm-hmm. And what Trump does is a blowhardy version of it. But it was an interesting thing. So here's what I was looking at. Somebody showed a clip, and it was over the weekend. It was a UFC fight. Paulo Costa, I guess, won his fight. And he jumps over the fence. He's going to say hi to Trump, which is what all these guys do. All the UFC guys love Trump. All the merit-based people love Trump. Airline pilots and stuff like that. It's this faculty, school, teacher, lounge folk that don't like Trump. Yeah. The fucking super lazy fucks
the
that don't do anything.
People with no merits.
Right. Things that don't compete or do anything. So all the people that compete love Trump. So he jumps over, and we'll just show you the clip. He wants to say hi to Trump, and he just wins his fight. I don't know what round he won it in, but it doesn't matter. He just finished a UFC fight. You can play it. And Trump grabs his hand. Now, his hand is a sweaty, bloody piece of mess because he just got done pummeling someone with his right hand, and Trump won't let go of his hand, which has to be wet.
Yeah.
With sweat, saliva, maybe blood. Trump's not wearing a glove. Trump just grabbed onto his hand. Now he touches his sweaty arm with his other hand. Now he starts touching his leg. This guy is one big petri dish sucking up sweat. By the way, he's not wiping his hands. He's not going for a rag. He grabs his hand again. So's Dana White. Okay, here's what I'm saying. That's a dude. That's a dude. That's not Mr. Purell. That's not triple mask. That's not, where that's been or what about that. It's different. There's a mindset. I don't think you wouldn't find Kamala Harris doing that. And by the way, I look, the guy reaches out, you give him the bump, and you retreat, but you don't hang on to a wet, sweaty leather glove, which again, it's got his sweat, it's got the other guy's sweat, it's got blood,
teeth,
spit,
whatever,
DNA, whatever's on there. And then his whole body's covered with sweat, and you're touching him.
And he wipes his hair with his right hand and then shakes his hand after that. One of the best pieces of advice I was ever given, I was working construction, like 17 years old. My grandfather was still alive. My grandfather had this guy that he had hired during the summer. He was a little bit older than I was, probably like in his mid-20s, but he said to me, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And it completely changed my life. It completely changed. How you do one thing is, and I think about that every time I write a joke or every time I clean my car or every time I put out, I write a script. I just go, are you going to finish this or aren't you? Because if you can finish cleaning your car, you can finish the goddamn script and you can do it professionally.
Yes. Which is not exactly apples to apples for what I'm talking about. But
I'm saying
a good message for the kids anyway.
Yeah, but like you shake a guy's hand, it's all sweaty. You're also, how you do one thing is how you do everything. You're not grossed out by that guy, which means you're probably a guy that can mix it up with other people. You can be germy. You're okay with it.
You are okay on a construction site because a construction site is a lot of sweaty dudes.
That's what I'm saying.
And a lot of guys all lifting up something at the same time, and you're getting the other guy's shit all over you, and it's kind of a eating lunch, just sort of sitting on the ground, sitting on a pile of bricks and eating stuff, putting your sandwich down on the side of the brick, like It's a dude move, and that is, and you know that it doesn't, you know, I wouldn't know. By the way, I kind of would know something about that guy's foreign policy, which is fuck with this country and you get blown up, because he's the same guy who doesn't care about all the sweat.
See what I mean?
On the guy.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. You got news?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Let's jump into it. A new bill dubbed the Stop Nick Shirley Act passed its first hurdle in California's legislature late Tuesday. The bill's movement comes after 24-year-old independent journalist Nick Shirley published a 40-minute video on hospice fraud in the state. His video racked up 42 million views on X and has brought public scrutiny to California's funded Medicare programs. Other investigations have found that a single program is causing the state to hemorrhage $6 billion in fraud annually.
Right. So we got to stop it. Now, okay, couple things. Politicians, look, this is their constituency, and they don't really care about fraud. They care about their constituency, and you experienced it in Minnesota. That's what's going on. But here's the thing about politicians in the past. They had to feign some sort of sincerity or some sort of caring, you know what I mean? Which is out the window now. And you can find another one of my favorite clips was the Nancy Pelosi, when they were asking her during the Summer of Love, like, people are tearing down statues. Don't you think they should get a permit for that or something? And she goes, people are, they're going to do what they do. It's like, you have to feign. Okay, Nancy Pelosi, your constituency are the animals that's burning the city to the ground. But you have to pretend like you don't like it, even though you do like them and you want their vote. Mm-hmm. But you have to pretend when we put a mic in front of you. So this thing, that's your constituency. It's all immigrants. It's Somalis, I guess. There's actually a clip of Nick talking about it, which, by the way, we should probably play. The Somalis, where you're from, Armos, where I'm from, but that's their protected group. These are immigrants. These are poor. By the way, they're harder working and contribute more and pay more taxes and use less than we do. Mm-hmm. Did you know that about the Somalis?
I mean, I was definitely aware, for
Except
sure.
for 80% of them are on welfare. But okay, but that's the rap, right? That's how it works. So we used to feign an interest in this. And what we would do is you would get up there and you'd go, I'm outraged by this fraud. That's taxpayer money, and I'm here to fight for that. And then you'd go back and do nothing. Now you're releasing bills saying we can't uncover the fraud.
Yeah, one of the things that they talk about is these people are not allowed to put out any sort of content which may, with the intent to threaten, intimidate, or incite violence, which is basically them just putting out facts, and then they just go, well, you only put that to incite violence.
Well, let's see if we can just get a 10,000-foot view of this. You are for a secure border and you're against illegal immigration, but if somebody says, I want to build a wall at the border, you say you're going to tear it down. And if someone in Texas tries to put barbed wire over the Rio Grande, you sue Texas to get it taken down. So are you against this thing? And you're against fraud, except for you're going to attack Elon Musk when he puts together a thing called Doge and burn his dealerships. And you're against fraud, but you're releasing a bill to essentially attack the guy who uncovered the fraud. So you're against these things, except for there's no part of your action that ever seems against any of these things. And now you're in a really weird position because you have to go through your political life saying, I'm against this and I'm against fraud and I'm for a closed and stout border, except for everything I do is to repel both those things. Mm-hmm. And now I'm confused as a voter, except for I'm not. I know what you want. Yes.
And in the wording of this language, journalism is pernicious now.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's hear Nick. Let's hear his response to this.
All right, check this out. This is a bit crazy. California Democrats advance Stop Nick Shirley Act to criminalize investigative journalism. So after I expose widespread fraud all across America, and quite frankly, states like Minnesota and California are just the worst at it. letting fraud take place, especially inside of immigrant communities, for instance, the Somalians in Minnesota and then the Armenians in California. And so now they're trying to silence anybody who exposes fraud inside of California. For instance, if this bill is passed, the Quality Leering Center that was in Minnesota would be protected from being exposed. That is absolutely crazy. And the crazy thing about this is the person who is proposing this bill, her name is Mia Bonta. Her husband is the Attorney General of California. And so let's say you expose fraud. This is what could happen to you inside the state of California. You could get a misdemeanor, a $10,000 fine, imprisonment, and your content forced to be deleted. That is absolutely crazy. It is time for people to either stand up or we face mass oppression from those that rule us.
Oh, no kings. Yeah. I'm going to go down a no kings march.
Yeah.
Okay. Rob Bonta is the AG of California. His wife is putting this ahead. First off, would you get your bitch on a leash? Jesus Christ. If my fucking wife said, I got a plan, I'm going to go I'd go, look, sweetheart, you know what that's going to look like for fucking me?
Sure.
We're going to look like idiots. And by the way, you're going to look like you're aiding and abetting fraud. And my job is to stop fraud. Think about the optics of it.
Yeah.
So that's insane. Also, it kind of proves they don't care anymore. Like, just fuck it. I'm just going to, like, there used to be an optics thing where someone go, you know what that looks like? This is also chick think. Chicks will fucking just say anything and do anything. I'm going to put a bill ahead that says it's like Nithya Raman talking about catalytic converters. Like, bitch, shut up. You don't fuck. You got to hear what you sound like with this shit. You're blaming Toyota for people stealing catalytic converters. You're nuts.
Yeah.
That sounds insane. This is a feminine trait. It's kind of the, again, when they pull the guy off the airplane who's been battling with the stewardess for the last hour, you'll always hear the women's voice yelling, what's going on? That's not them saying what's going on. That's them saying, I can't control my mouth. I can't control my brain. I just, fucking shit just comes flying out. You know what I mean?
This goes back to the phone call earlier. It is EI, estrogen influx.
Yes. And so California is the most feminine governmental state. And thus we get the most crazy fucking ideas of any place in the land.
And the website they use is ChatCNT.
Rob Bonta, this is his wife.
You should go down a rabbit hole on Bonta. He's a bad dude.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Really?
He's a piece of shit. And also, but it's great. But he's a Latina. He's a Latina color or whatever. This affirmative action, as we used to call it, DEI stuff, people have no idea the damage this has caused. Taking inept fucking dumbos and putting them in positions of power because they're Hispanic or black or lesbian or female or whatever.
That all these people have zero moral compass. Zero moral compass.
He's a fucking idiot.
I believe that Bonta is tied to the investigation on the Duong people in the Bay Area that Oakland mayor had to step down. She's investigated by the FBI.
We need more females in positions of color.
So essentially, I do think that in this case, Bonta has buried himself into a corner of turning a blind eye to stuff that he knows or he is possibly implicated in. And now his wife is they're double timing, trying to cover everybody's ass by trying to.
But hold on, former Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao.
Yeah.
But that's a woman and a minority, so they're better.
Oh, she's better. I'm sorry.
They don't do stuff. Indicted on federal bribery and corruption charges.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it turns out bitches are better at this than dudes were.
The Duong family, and I'm not entirely correct on all this, 100% accurate, but I believe what they were doing was they sold the city of Oakland refurbished containers, storage containers that were supposed to be refurbished to become homeless housing.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
And they were charging like $300,000 for one of these. The city of Oakland ordered 1 million of them. There were kickbacks everywhere.
I know. And then the plan is really...
And Bonta is buried in this somewhere.
You really expect... we're asking you to investigate your friends, basically, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
By the way, it's all they accuse Trump of is lawfare.
And this stuff better come back and bite these people in the ass that go down to like the Trump rallies, and they basically record people and ask them questions that are loaded to make them look like idiots. And then all they do is just post the highlight reel of people saying stupid stuff and go, look at all these yokels over at the Trump rally. Okay, well, it works the same way then. If you don't want it to post anything that incites violence or to humiliate, well, then guess what? This is all underneath this bill as well.
There's never been
the whole plan, just like they did with COVID and big tech, is just intimidate people into staying home and being silent, essentially. Because as we found out with J6, if the wrong people are in charge, they can fucking ruin your life. I mean, that's kind of the implication.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Sorry.
Wisconsin sheriff sues Pakistani-American woman who said ICE detained her for 2 days when she was actually at a hotel spa. We got video of this.
Good. Sue that bitch. By the way, where are all the stories? Let me tell you something. There's two things. I've heard my whole life about Africanized killer bees coming to California from Mexico. I've never seen one. No one's ever been killed by a killer bee. It's never happened. It's 40 years on. All I hear is about ICE detaining people and disappearing people and doing all this. I never see the actual person. Shouldn't there be some guy who's released from prison with a big gray beard who goes, I was just mowing my lawn and I was mistaken for a Mexican and they disappeared? All you guys do is talk about stuff, but nothing ever comes out the other end.
Yeah.
It's basically their white supremacy is the biggest problem this country faces. Really? Because every time I turn on my phone, it's just some black kid punching an Asian. All right. So now, here we go.
That is right, Cheryl. Today, the Dodge County Sheriff said Sundance Sonny Nakvi's story was made up, and he's demanding action accountability for what he calls lies.
Sundance Nakvi was not detained by ICE at any time. She was not transported to Broadview Detention Facility. She was not transported across state lines to Dodge County, by law enforcement anyway. She was not in the custody of the Dodge County Sheriff's Office.
Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt, in his lawsuit, outlining what he calls a hoax allegedly carried out by 28-year-old Sundance Sonny Nakvi. Nakvi's supporter spoke out last month after the Evanston native claimed she was detained at O'Hare Airport by Customs and Border Protection for 30 hours. Her family says she was then sent to the ICE detention facility in Broadview and later transported to a facility in Dodge County, Wisconsin, where they said she was released Saturday, March 7th. According to the lawsuit, Sheriff Schmidt says Nakvi was actually staying at a hotel near O'Hare and allegedly sent text messages from her room.
She checked into the Hampton Inn and Suites in Rosemont, Illinois for the entire duration of this alleged event. Travel from the Hampton Inn and Suites in Illinois to the Holiday Inn Express in Beaver Dam was done to complete this hoax. She scammed a victim out of thousands of dollars in pursuit of this hoax against the federal government.
Look, by the way, when you start making victims into hero status, then you're going to get more people wanting to be fucking heroes.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Dumbos that are standing outside of the detention center with signs, because it does incite people to want to pull off more scams like this. Yeah. Because it gets some attention, yeah.
Ro Khanna was getting schooled up by some chick online. I saw it. He's a dope. Who's obviously another California guy. There's a clip of it somewhere. But the reason I was thinking about that is because of they have a version of things. Like, what I'm saying is like they have their artist rendering of the bridge that goes over the freeway, and they have their artist rendering of the bullet train, and they have their artist rendering of the 7th Street Bridge. That's a happy drawing that you guys made. Like when Mamdani's talking about the supermarkets and stuff, he has drawings of like happy people getting free food and farmers giving stuff. That's a drawing in your head. The rally's going to be an empty store. People are going to be fighting over the last Triscuit, and it's going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
And you're going to want more money. But Ro Khanna, listen to him. First off, he's dumb. And then secondly, he's getting schooled. But thirdly, his version of the illegals. Like they always do this thing which drives me insane. Like it's somebody, like someone will go, you'll say, like if you said to a woman or whomever, you go to your roommate, like, hey, let's, you got all your boxes in the living room. Let's just put those boxes away. And then let's just kind of get organized here because I tripped over a box last night when I came home. And then they go, he wants me to crawl up the flue in the vent above the oven and scrub it with a toothbrush. And I'm like, that's not what no one's ever said that.
Yeah.
No one ever said that. No one ever said, I want to go find law-abiding immigrants that are here illegally, but are paying taxes and working hard and supporting the family and round them up and disappear them. Nothing's ever said, but that's his. Let's just listen to him try to make sense for 10 minutes.
As a regular, everyday American citizen, I feel that I am more likely to be harmed by Democratic policies such as open borders. Because
I'm for secure borders.
Okay,
right.
but in your state.
He's for secure borders. In his artist rendering of the happy border with the flowers and the happy Mexicans, yes, but you don't do anything. You fight against. The border got secured in 10 minutes after Trump showed up. Why? But he's for it. Mm-hmm. He's for it.
I'm for secure borders.
Okay, but in your state, something like 4,600 or so illegal migrants that had criminal records were re-released from jail. So when we're talking about harming Americans, when we're talking about children potentially being harmed, when we're looking into child trafficking, we have to acknowledge that illegal migration is the biggest funnel for child trafficking. So when we're worried about Epstein with a couple of people, and you guys turn a blind eye to tens of thousands of children being harmed by your policies, that's a problem.
We have been for a secure border, but here's what I want.
No one in California can say that they're for a secure border.
Well, that's a policy I've been pushing for. But let me say this. Instead of having ICE raids in places like Minneapolis killing Americans like Alex Preddy and Renee Good.
2 people.
And doing raids on undocumented folks.
They remember the name of any nut job that got shot by law enforcement. That's always at the tip of their tongue. The hundreds of people that just get stabbed by illegals every year, they never know one of their names. They can't even pronounce them. They never said it. They always have those 2 names.
Yeah.
Always, if somebody was killed by law enforcement, they fucking know him up and down and backwards. Wake that guy up in the sleep 5 years from now. Ask him the names of 2 guys killed in Minnesota, and he'll tell you the 2 names. Ask him anybody who's been killed by an illegal.
Yeah.
They'll never know the fucking name.
The good-looking blonde gal on the subway.
Right.
No recollection.
All right, here we go.
Killing Americans like Alex Preddy and Renee Good.
2 people.
And doing raids on undocumented folks here who may be paying taxes and having a restaurant. How about we have the focus on the border to stop
hold on. So ICE
having a restaurant.
They're having a restaurant and paying taxes and having a restaurant. As someone find me a clip of Trump saying, you know what I'm going to do with these ICE officials? I'm going after taxpayers who have restaurants.
Yeah.
All right, keep playing. It's funny.
Terrorists or to stop the gangs or to stop sex trafficking.
All right, hold on. There's 1 million hours of Tom Homan saying these guys, there's terrorists, there's sex traffickers, there's gang members. We need to go into your town and clean these fucking people up. But he wants to know why they're going after restaurant owners and not gang. So no one's ever said that, ever. Mm-hmm. It broke. What the answer is like? Where's he get his information from? It's fucking. All right, so keep going. So
here who may be paying taxes and having a restaurant. How about we have the focus on the border to stop the terrorists or to stop the gangs or to stop sex trafficking?
The border's closed.
If you're worried about sex trafficking, why is your focus on rich people who are committing significantly less sex trafficking crimes? Not saying that they're innocent, but your anger towards this seems very skewed and very hypocritical.
My anger towards them is because they feel like they're above the law, that they
and
use
so do
their
these migrants that get right back out of jail when you guys let them out.
But I am not for,
they are above the law. They are at a tier that gets to walk free whenever they want.
I believe that if you've committed a violent crime or a terrible crime in this country, you should face deportation.
But you guys don't do it. You believe it, but you let these people
go. All right, hold on. He believes in a lot of stuff he doesn't do or say ever.
Mm-hmm. I believe in a clean house. I just don't clean it.
That's right. All right, sorry. Keep going. There's a good part.
Obama had a record of having secured the border, and there were a lot of criminals who were deported. What I don't agree with is what ICE is doing, putting terror in communities. I mean, let me ask you this.
I feel comfortable with ICE around. I'm not a criminal, illegal immigrant, so I feel very comfortable. I'm not terrorized by them, and I'm from New York.
New York.
Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. If there's an undocumented immigrant here, right, came across without their papers, and they opened a restaurant.
All right, pause. What do you mean without their papers?
Came across, but they forgot them at home.
They forgot the papers. They just stumbled across with no papers.
Yeah, man.
It's like sometimes you go to the airport, but you forgot your license, and then you got to call your girlfriend to bring it to you so you can go through security.
These are specific papers that just say they can come to America.
Well, they came here and they forgot their papers.
I'm sorry, I forgot my papers.
But anyway, they opened a restaurant.
Yeah. Oh, I have. They have a restaurant.
By the way, is there one person that's been deported that is this person he speaks
Wait,
of?
did the gangbangers own the restaurants? Is that who were arrested?
They forgot the papers they had. Here we go.
And they've been
Why?
Here.
Why are they allowed to do that? Why are they taking that place away from someone else?
Right? Let's say they've been here 10 years and they're paying taxes. Do you think ICE should go and try to deport them, or do you think that we should? So we just disagree there. I think
we disagree in that he's an elected official and a lawmaker who doesn't want to enforce the law, and she's some chick from Brooklyn who does want to enforce it, but they disagree. That's where we... what other laws do we disagree on?
At least they're both for border security.
Rokana, I disagree on the 55 speed limit. How about that? I'm an 85 guy.
Yeah.
That's where we disagree. So no law enforcement. So he wants us to shut the border to stop the terrorists from getting in. Except for he left the fucking border open for 4 years, never said a thing, and now the border is shut. So what's he talking about with the border, number one? And then number two, he's invented this person. This is the Maryland dad. You invented this nice guy, forgot his paperwork, starting a thriving business and paying tons of taxes, and then we're going to shut that guy down. Is this what you think this is? And by the way, don't you have any thoughts about how fucking dumb you sound when you speak? Like people film it and then they put it up and then I make fun of you.
Yeah, going back to what you said earlier is that sometimes people need to hear what they sound like. Sadly, I think they do know what they sound like and they're okay with it. They just keep rolling with it.
The Nancy Pelosi statue thing. Did we ever find that? I don't know why I am so enamored with that.
Yeah.
Literally, someone's asking a person that people are tearing down statues. And you know, she said she's not much of a, she's not nostalgic. Like she doesn't collect stuff. She's not a scrapbooker. And people are doing what they do, which is, running in the streets and burning shit. And by the way, she's from California. In California, if you want to hang up a hummingbird feeder, you got to pull a permit.
Sure.
You want to tear down 7,000 tons of bronze in a park? You're on your own.
Turn into scrap
Just
metal.
Tie that hose to the back of the pickup truck and get a running start. All right, this is great.
The city of Richmond is obviously in sync with your desire to get rid of Confederate statues, but in Baltimore and Little Italy, the statue of Christopher Columbus was removed or taken down. And I wonder if you have anything to share about that.
Well, I'm not a big, I don't even have my grandmother's earrings. I'm not a big, let's see what we have in terms of monuments in this. If the community doesn't want the statue there, the statue shouldn't be there.
Respectfully, shouldn't that be done by a commission or the city council, not a mob in the middle of the night throwing it into the harbor?
People will do what they do.
Jesus fucking Christ, people. You 200. Yeah. All right, but by the way, people will wander through the rotunda on January 6th, bitch. That's just people doing what they do. You don't have feelings about other people doing things. She's not into nostalgia.
Hypocrite. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right. Friday, Phoenix. Rudy's going to be there being funny. Desert Ridge Improv. First show sold out on Friday, but other shows are going good over there. Sunday we're doing as well. I'm going to be everywhere. Rudy will be everywhere too. Just go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. And for Rudy, just go to rudypavichcomedy.com. And until next time, this is Adam for Rudy and Joey saying mahalo.